I was that kid with his neck broken, staring up at the sky with one dream and one dream only. I wanted to live a life where I was surrounded by aeroplanes. In the playground, I wasn't the kid playing football. I was just a kid who wanted to be around planes all the time, and that ambition ran so deep. It's all I really wanted when I was growing up. I tell all my family members about it, my uncles, my aunts, everyone. I tell them I just love planes. And that dream, one morning I woke up and it felt like it has slipped right through my fingertips, because this is what I saw.
Good morning, America. I'm Charles Gibson.
I'm Diane Turner. It's Tuesday, September 11, 2001. This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. Apparently a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
It does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember, oh my God.
That looks like a second plane.
This is so shocking, of course, to everybody watching.
Well, today we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
Those same aunts and uncles that were once encouraging me would sit me down and say, Mohammed, look, I know you love planes, but the harsh reality of this world is they don't hire Muslims in the aviation industry. And it was that moment where this dream felt like it slipped through my fingertips for something that happened on the other side of the world. Why was I getting punished? Why was a kid who just loved planes so much getting punished for something so far away? But that dream that had slipped, and everything felt like it was lost, it took one moment to regain that hope. And that moment came in the form of me and my sister getting in the car, driving up an hour and a half to a place I'd never been to before, called Cambridge. Stepped out the car, come to a building that looked unfamiliar, and a man steps out and says hello. And this was the man. Martin Broadhurst. At the time, the CEO of Marshall Aerospace, and it was his last week in office as the CEO. He was about to step out and go and do something else. And he took me on an entire half day where he carved out time in his diary to show a 16-year-old kid around the facilities, from the design offices to the manufacturing facilities, all the way to the control tower. He took me up the control tower himself. And that half a day where I got a chance to experience what this industry was all about put that hope back into the palm of my hands, and I felt like it was possible. And my sister the whole way up was telling me, Mohammed, you have to ask good questions. Make sure you get your questions right. And I remember sitting down, and Martin sat me down at the end and said, Mo, any questions before we go? And I looked at him and I said, Martin, look, I believe this is possible now. I truly do believe I can be a part of this industry. And I have one question. What does the future of this industry look like? What are the priorities that are important for the future of this industry? And Martin, knowing that this was his last week in office, I saw the corners of his lips smile up into a smile, and he looked at me and he said, Mohammed, the future, well, the future is in your hands. One man on his way out inspired me to say, you know what, this is possible. But deep down, although I knew that, okay, this is now possible, the answer never really satisfied me. I wanted to know what the priorities were. I wanted to know what this industry was about. And now, sat in this room, you figure out what these priorities are. It's sustainability. It's economic growth. How many times did we hear the word growth today? If I had £1 for every time we heard the word growth today, we'd all be very, very rich. And the last thing is AI and digital transformation. These are our priorities. As an industry, this is what we care about. This is our North Star that we're aiming towards. And every single one of us is on this boat, rowing as hard as we can, pushing and pulling, trying to get towards this destination, this North Star that we have. But is it me, or is there water in the bottom of this boat? Because I started to see where this water was coming from, and it led me to a gaping hole in the side of our hull, this ship called the aviation industry, with everybody giving it their all, trying to get to our North Star, trying to be more sustainable, trying to get growth, trying to be this industry that's on this upwards trajectory in the UK. What they haven't realized is that this ship that we're all sat on, this ship is sinking. This ship is sinking, and you're probably looking at me like, Mo, what do you mean this ship is sinking? We're all here, we're all doing pretty all right, but what you don't realize is that we are on the cusp of, you know what, don't take it from me. Let the data do the talking. 51% of our industry and our workforce is over the age of 45. Now, every single one of you in this room is smart enough to realize what this means. 51%. Give it 10 to 15 years and you do the maths. What does that mean? Because those same people who we're now relying on, 51% of the industry, would rather be in a place like this. They'll wave us goodbye and off we go. Now you're thinking, sure, well, there's the next generation that's going to come and take our place, right? Surely. Like the generations that went, other ones will come. Well, the Department for Transport's done a study that showed us that 70% of young people have little to no awareness about what a career in aviation even means. 70%. Nothing. They don't have no idea what the breadth of a career in aviation could mean. So all these priorities that we're singing and dancing about here, and we're making such a huge, huge push to achieve these priorities of sustainability and net zero sustainable aviation fuels, the growth that we want to see in our country, in our industry, all of these priorities, that digital transformation that's coming, all of these priorities, the thing that you need to realize is that these priorities need headspace. These priorities need leadership. These priorities need refinement and thinking. These priorities need people. And if we don't have people, are we going to get to those priorities? Where do we find these people? Where do we find them to plant the seed into their hearts and minds to make them want to come and join us on this industry? Well, when I was younger, I had to actually go on a day visit to go and see this facility firsthand, and it truly gave me hope to say, you know what, I walked out of that day on Marshall saying, I want to be a part of this industry no matter what. This is the industry that I want. That seed was planted and it gave me certainty. How do we plant that seed of certainty into the next generation that makes them say, I want to be a part of this industry? Well, the fact is the world has changed drastically since I went on that day trip to Marshall Aerospace. That same Maslow's hierarchy of needs that we all know and are familiar with, well, probably in the last 10 years, it's changed. Because now, in my opinion, this is what the Maslow's hierarchy of needs should be. We all know the feeling. Running around on 1%, just trying to find the plug socket to plug it in and finally hear that noise. The world has changed completely. And I'm going to tell you a story that's going to bring to life how much this world has changed. There was a governor of a local area who needed signatures from parents in order to build a school. He needed 500 signatures from local parents who were going to back him to be able to go to the local council and build a school. And for weeks and weeks, he'd set up these focus groups where he'd invite parents to come and to sign up and to be on this journey with him, to sign up for all these focus groups. And guess what? 3 days from the deadline where he had to submit the paperwork, where he needed 500 signatures, he had 50. 3 days. What was he going to do about it? Well, he asked himself a question. He said, rather than trying to bring all these parents and come to my focus groups that I've been holding week in and week out, clearly it's not working, what if I ask myself a question? What if I ask myself, where did these parents spend their downtime? Where do these parents just go to chill and relax and switch their mind off? The answer? Facebook. So he set up a Facebook group to try and get local parents to sign his petition, and within 48 hours, he had over 600 signatures from parents in his local community which were willing to back him to build this school. From weeks of trying, leading to 50 to 48 hours that led to 600, all that changed was he asked himself the question of where are my target audience already spending their time? How can I take my message and put it in front of them where they're already giving their attention to, rather than trying to drag them and get them to sit down in my event and sign my paperwork? Take what you have, put it in front of them. It's that simple. So I started to ask myself, well, in an industry where We're trying to get all these young people to join us. Where do young people spend their time? Well, the studies show us that young people spend more time consuming content on social media than they do actually consuming food. Think about that. They have more time consuming content on social media than they do consuming food. The data doesn't lie, and that consumption is leading to decision making. 55% of young people will be seeking careers guidance from the internet. This is a Department for Transport study. And the thing is, this Department for Transport study, as much as I love it, I still think it's missing a trick here, because what it said is 55% will be seeking career guidance on the internet, and then it had a separate section that said 20% will be seeking it on social media. They've clearly not understood the next generation. Yeah? They don't go to read PDFs on Google. Studies show that young people will search TikTok more than they'll search Google. Social media is where they live. It's where they consume. It's where they literally shape their realities, all on these platforms. And what it does is it gives them the menu that they can choose from for the careers that they have on offer. Their social media feed is literally the definition of their careers menu. And when they go onto that platform, they scroll and scroll and scroll until they find something interesting, and then they choose it. Now let me ask you a question. If you're not present on the menu, can you blame them for not choosing you? Let alone being on the menu, you're not even sat on the table. You need to put yourself on the menu and then complain about why they're not choosing you or from all the other choices that are there. We need to put ourselves on the menu, because until then, can we blame them? See, when I went to actually see what the aviation industry was like, I'm an aerospace engineer by background. I studied aerospace engineering, I joined Heathrow Airport on their graduate program, and I got a chance for 6 years to experience what this aviation industry is all about. I went from the baggage system to the control tower to runways. I got a chance to see everything. And the thing is, every single one of you knows in this room that the aviation industry is addictive. Once you get into it, do you want to leave? Mm-mm. We love it. It's nice. It's genuinely enjoyable. So what I started to do is, that passion of mine that I would see as I was walking around Heathrow Airport, I pulled my camera out and I started to make videos. I started to teach the world what I was learning when I would go to work as the aerodrome systems specialist at Heathrow Airport. And I started to, obviously, you had the red lines of what you can and can't talk about. I dodged all of those, and I shared the things that were just common knowledge. And what I do is I'd create these short, sharp, educational videos that would take a bit of information and put it out to the world. On the right-hand side, you have how we look inside an engine to be able to check its maintenance. Here in the middle, we have actually us changing a light fitting from the runway on in the middle of the night. Now we're talking about how we actually design air bridges to make them safe. And on the left, that's a Bugatti getting strapped into the bottom of a plane, getting sent to Dubai. Tell me that's not interesting. Yeah? I put these stuff online, and it would just be raw, authentic passion. Like, I love what I'm seeing, and I'm just sharing it with the world, literally. And what happened was, my social medias overtook that of Heathrow Airport's official channels. They had a whole team working away, and I was one man doing it in my bedroom. But the passion of the message of this industry meant that these social media channels that I had literally overtook my own employer's channels. And I got the nickname, the airport guy. It happened, I was at a train station, some guy ran out of the train, he looked up, he saw me, he was flustered. He's like, whoa, you're that guy. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're the airport guy. I'm like, you know what, that's got a ring to it. Went home, added it to my account. I became the airport guy. 500,000 people across platforms, across the world, all interested to learn about what happens behind the scenes in the aviation industry. And that's when the floodgates started to pour. I started to get message after message after message of young people saying, look, we're seeing what we are doing. We love it. How do we become a part of this industry? I really want to do this. And every single one of these messages, I'd spend like 3 hours each night when I'd go home replying to messages from young people around the world. Some of these young people are actually in the room that I used to reply to, because now they're studying aerospace engineering and they've gone on to do amazing things. They've literally brought them with me in the room. Hands up for the community that I brought with me. Yeah, there they are. So if you want to talk to them, that's the future right there, right? That's the future right there. Now, these messages that I'd get, some of them would really hurt, because some of them would look like this. Assalamu alaikum, my name is, and I'm an aerospace engineering student at Swansea. I just wanted to say, you've been a huge inspiration to me and many people that I know, especially to see a Muslim brother making such a huge impact and inspiring the next generation to join an industry which I was always told was one that Muslims can't work in. That same thing I got told. I cried so much that morning, because I was finally able to change the narrative of the lie that I was told, and no fault of my own. It was a tragedy, but what have I got to do with it? But here's when I started to think. I was once sat in a room, similar size to this, or actually maybe a little smaller. It had all the early careers talent that Heathrow Airport had hired over 5 years. 5 years worth of talent sat in one room, all the early careers talent. And I stood up on the stage and I said, look, I have a quick question for everyone in the room. Who here in the room decided that they want to join Heathrow Airport as a career because of the videos that I've been making for the past 5 years? Just a show of hands. 53% of the room put their hand up. 53% of a room full of talent said it was TikTok and Instagram that made men choose to join a career in the aviation industry. And that's when I realized that this problem is way bigger than just Heathrow. Because the government tapped me on the shoulder and said, look, this is a global skills crisis, and we want you to apply to become an aviation ambassador for the Department for Transport. This is when I changed my career. I left the engineering behind, and I realized that there's a problem in this world that needs solving, and that's how do we attract the next generation of talent for the industry that I truly love. And I went off on a mission. January this year, I quit my job, and I became an aviation ambassador for the UK government, and I'm surrounded by people who are on a similar mission to me. These aviation ambassadors are literally planting the seed in the next generation to try and bring them along for this journey. And when I came out into this world, I started to work with some of the biggest brands in the world, and I'm going to show you a sneak peek of the work that I do with them. Take a look at this video.
These engines push the plane forward, but what if the plane needs to reverse? Do you know that airplanes never actually use their engines to reverse out of a gate at an airport? What? Instead, we use one of these things. This thing is called a pushback sounding. And this is Antonio. Antonio is about to push back this aeroplane, and we're going to teach you exactly how to do it. First, you want to do is you want to attach the floor bar, and then attach it to the bottom just like that. With a little pivot at the safety, and then you've got to line this up here. We're listening to the radio. We're making sure that we know what direction we have to push back this aircraft. So as soon as it's ready, we're going to confirm out the engineer. We're going to go, go, go. Brakes are off. You see the brakes are off there. As you stay to the right, the aeroplane starts to go to the left. As you go to the left, the aeroplane goes to the right. It's completely reversed. But that is a skill that it takes years to master. So you can push the aeroplane and smack it right in the middle of this taxiway. There we go. That is the center line right there. And the aim is always to get it smack bang in the middle of the center line. If you want to be doing what Antonio is doing, you want to be pushing back the aircraft at the airport, the NASA is hiring right now. This could be the thing that you call work one day. You can come up by apply now, and you can be a part of the team that keeps things moving on the ground at the airport.
Did that feel like an advert? Because it was. Shout out to Alex and the team there from Donato, who's actually sat in the crowd. She believed in this vision, and she actually pushed the team to actually make it happen, and this was the result. Over 6 million organic views from the videos that we created, thousands of applications, and more importantly, brand awareness. People started to know what Donato does, and the ground handling and all the baggage agents and all these things that happen behind the scenes. People started to be able to put a logo to an operation. Next, British Airways. British Airways came to me and said, look, we want to actually hire more pilots from diverse backgrounds. Can you make us a video? So I did. I made a video for British Airways. This video got 3 million views organically. They had more diverse people than ever before, more women apply than ever before, and more of those people from diverse backgrounds and women made it through to the final stage interview and actually got the job. And to prove it to you, there's 2 of them that are sat in the room right here, right? Put your hands up. Jordan, I'm there. Yeah, there you go. 2 future pilots for British Airways from the community. Again, amazing. We're actually creating an impact here. And the best part is, the cherry on top of this cake is that this video was actually nominated for a national award, which in 3 days' time, we're going to be finalists, and we're going to see if we've won a national award for recruitment all through the power of video. Again, Virgin Atlantic, how many times we hear SAF today? That SAF flight, VS100, I was lucky enough to actually be invited on that flight. I was sat 2 seats behind Richard Branson the whole way there. Why? because they said, Mo, we want you to tell the next generation about sustainable aviation fuels and the importance of them choosing STEM subjects for us to be able to create more feedstock, for us to be able to create more sustainable aviation fuels. That's the biggest thing. If you can make it, we'll fly it. How do we make it? We need to get more young people into STEM subjects. That was the power of this message. And that video was the most liked and most commented video across the whole campaign that they done that whole week, except for one video. And that was Rishi Sunak's video. So if that's my competition, then I'm doing all right. Videos that actually engage, that actually tell a story, that are real and authentic, they connect with the next generation. The next generation doesn't want to see an advert. They hate smooth, silky shots. They want real, authentic passion on their screens. They want people who looks like them and talks like them to deliver that message. And that is what I just happened to do. But it came from the heart. It was passion. And this work has been recognized by brands all over the world. Name me a logo that you can probably recognize on there. These are all the brands that have believed in what I do and have given me the opportunity to actually elevate what they do in the process. And our vision is to revolutionize how the aviation industry connects and recruits and inspires that next generation through the power of content. And on that mission, I'd like to announce today that we've just had our first long-term partnership with Manchester Airport Group. We've signed a long-term agreement with them to create a series where we discuss every job in the airport over a series of videos and content. But the thing is, airports are only one small piece of this puzzle. We have the airports here, but actually our vision is to go far beyond that and create content about every part of this aviation industry, whether that's airlines, ground handlers, technology providers, service providers, construction, everything. And we're gonna need to be able to have partners on this journey who believe in this mission to be able to join us on this thing, on this mission. Now the idea is we take the industry and we place it in the palm of their hands. That is the vision. We take the aviation industry and we place it into the palm of the hands of the next generation, because that's where all their attention is going. So why not just put aviation there? But what if I told you that we wanted to get to an even younger audience? The ones that aren't on social media. Where do they spend their time? Anyone heard of something called Roblox? Probably your nephew, grandson, child, whoever, probably spends their time on Roblox all day, right? Roblox is a metaverse. It's a virtual world where kids log in and become whatever they want to be. And they play and they have fun and they do stuff. All in this virtual world in the palm of their hands. And the data behind Roblox is mind-boggling. 88.9 million users daily spending on average 2.5 hours of their life. Shocking. And it's scary, I agree. But the fact is, that's where they are. So good luck trying to drag them off it. You'll be just about as successful as that person trying to build a school. So what can you do instead? Why don't we take our industry and put it there? 88.9 million users, that's more than Heathrow does in a year. Just to put it into scale. And the thing is, brands are already realizing this. You have brands like Nike, Amazon, H&M, Walmart, Polo, Vans. All of these brands are already present on these platforms. They're already building. And my favorite case study is IKEA. IKEA can allow a young person to literally be a co-worker in IKEA on Roblox. Now you're probably thinking, why? Why would you want to be an IKEA co-worker on Roblox? The reason why is because IKEA is spending $2.2 billion investing in building 17 new stores in the US. So they're predicting over the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to need to hire a lot of people. Where are those people spending their time right now? Roblox. So why don't we get them trained up ahead of time and allow them to realize, and read what the description says, right? An immersive experience that gives players the opportunity to experience IKEA's unique approach to careers, where non-linear career journeys are the norm and lateral moves across departments are commonplace. Does that ring a bell? Is that not what this industry is all about? Are we not moving from one department to another and trying new things all the time? Why can't we bring that to life in Roblox? Why can't we have an aviation Roblox? Good question. Well, watch this.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
The fact is, we do. All the brands that you saw in there were demonstrative purposes only. We haven't got any official partnerships with anyone just yet. But we've built a Roblox world where young people come and they can be flight attendants, they can be ground staff, they can be cabin crew. They actually have responsibilities. They come to work because there's a flight that needs them. We literally train them up on safety procedures and how to do this and how to do that and what to do when things go wrong. We are literally training the next generation in the palm of their hands where they get a chance to do every job in the aviation industry all in one place. How cool is that? Wouldn't you want to be that kid who can literally go home from school, pull out the iPad and literally get to work? Go to the airport, do something, be an air traffic controller, be a ground handler, do whatever you want. We've built this world and we're looking for people to come and join us on this journey so that every time they go to work, they're not working for some random company, they're working for you. So when they grow up, who are they going to want to work for? That's right. We're building a funnel of talent that uses the most unorthodox ways to bring talent into your organizations. We're using Roblox, we're using TikTok, we're using Instagram and YouTube to be able to literally funnel talent into organizations, and that organization can be you. When you go to work and you see the brand bombarded by that same brand, the chances are you're going to grow up where you're going to want to work. Plant that seed. Plant that seed early. And also, I've also got a book deal, which is an announcement that I'm sat here today. So I've got a book deal to get to even younger audiences, right? So we're building a book all about jobs in the aviation industry. I've literally just signed a deal with DK, who we're going to be publishing in 2026. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to leave this on here for about 15 seconds before I move on. If you're serious about wanting to join us on this journey, and you genuinely want to be a part of these worlds that we're creating, whether that's on social media, or whether that's on Roblox, and you want your organization to benefit from these funnels that we're creating that are going to be funneling talent in there, when you scan this, you're only going to get asked one question, and that's your email address. We're not going to spam you. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to set up a conversation, if you want it, to see how you can benefit from these talent pipelines and these talent funnels that we are building for the aviation industry in the most unorthodox ways. And I'm going to leave you with this final thought. I'm a few minutes over and I do apologize. But imagine if we don't do anything. Imagine if we do nothing and we just wait. Fast forward 20 years. What's the state of our industry going to look like? We're going to sit there talking about sustainable aviation fuels and talking about growth, while meanwhile, our most basic requirements as an industry aren't met. We're going to be too busy shoveling water out of our boat, let alone trying to steer towards our North Star. Are we really going to wait for it to get to that? Are we really going to wait 20 years to realize that, damn, you know what? We should have done something when we had the chance. Right now, that is the time for us to do something. Because there's the best time to plant a tree, and that was 20 years ago. And the second best time to plant a tree is right now. You are the leaders of this industry. You are the decision makers of this industry. You are the ones that are literally steering this ship and are going to be taking us towards our future. And it's those of you who actually decide to take action, that actually decide that your organization, your legacy is going to be the ones who plant that seed in the next generation and inspire that future. You are the ones that are going to come out on top. So reach out to us. We're here. We want to help you take the most unorthodox ways into creating the talent pipeline of your future. Because depending on how the next few years goes, and depending on the actions that you take, it will determine the state of our industry for the years to come. Thank you very much.
Well, that's how you grip a room after a coffee break. Very, very impressive storytelling. That's fantastic, man. And a message, I think, for